where it's okay. People can say gender equality, but what does that mean? It's general, but we want to see it in the business sense. How companies can look at gender equality, what they need to do. But we need a kind of tool, which this tool will be actually tested somewhere with a company and then see whether it's worked or not. But we cannot reach that until we have your comments. So this is what you're here today. But what are the characteristics of the global compact? One is a learning, in the learning approach, it's a learning focus on the business that can respect the universal values in many ways to achieve goals, but also underlying the objective of encouraging innovation and the creative solution. So it's standards, one of its characteristics is a learning approach. It's like what we are doing today. I know at the end of this session, I don't think that everyone will live like the way you can, because there will be other new things which we have learned through this kind of interaction. So, and it's remaining to be the engagement. It's engage, and also you do dialogues. But also it's a entity of actors and approaches. It's not only meant for one group, but it's kind of for companies, business association, workers association, NGOs, academias, but also the United Nations family generally. So it's not a one thing, because this is a platform bringing all these stakeholders together and finding a common solution to our common problems. But also it has a decentralized network whereby the headquarters is in New York, where our colleagues come from. But also it has a network in countries like Tanzania and some other countries globally. It's not large for progress, but the global company rely on the action of those involved. Because at the end of the day, it's you commit, and we'll just follow up and see whether what you commit you actually honor. So in brief, it's time to be a true global, but just to get a proper definition of what is and what is not. Global Compact is a voluntary initiative to promote a sustainable development and good corporate citizenship. But also it's a set of value based on the universal accepted principles. You can also say it's a network of companies and other stakeholders, but it's a forum for learning and exchange experience, like what we are doing here today. We are trying to learn from each other, but also we are trying to exchange our understanding. But the Global Compact is not a legal binding. It cannot bind. But also a means of monitoring company and behavior and enforcing compliance. We will not be there to monitor a company by telling you promised to do this, but you have not done this. I think this it has a big picture, and the big judge for this is a community. If you pledge that you'll take care about environment, you'll take care about gender equality, and you at the end of the day, you'll provide a report, and that report will be submitted, because normally the report is it's actually submitted online. And you know what happened? People don't read globally your report, and I know there are people who are very interested. Once they read, they'll come on the ground. They'll like to compare the notes, because what you say and what you actually put in your report. So at the end of the day, it will come out that what you pledge is not actually what you're doing. So, and that is not the UN global work, but that's the community. So we are not enforcing, but we want people to be self-regulated. You feel yourself that I'm part of this. So I don't need someone to stand behind me, so as I cannot violate the rules. So that is what UN Global stands for. But also the standard management system and code of conduct. This is not the global compact. All this can be set within the company, and we'll be there just to make sure that you get all the necessary resource for you to achieve what actually you pledge in your thing. But it's not a regulatory body. So how to join this global compact? First, you need first to be signatory. And this is done in New York, but it's done virtual. You don't need to go to New York. You write a letter to Secretary General, and we have a template for that letter. So we provide that letter for you, a template. Then you customize according to your need. But at the end of the day, it has a format. So you put it in your letterhead, and then it must sign by the CEO, who is the final in the company. Because at the end of the day, we presume that the buy-in starts from the top. So if the CEO signs, then that is your words. So you commit for it, and you'll be accountable for it. So once you're done, then the next step is to fill the form, which is online. We normally provide the link to that form. And that form, it has 5 stages. The first stage, you just provide your necessary information about your company or your organization. And the next, it will ask you, because it's a kind of questionnaire sort of, it asks some information from your company. And the last part is for you to upload the letter which you signed. And then from there, you're on for it. It will take around 14 days for them to do their own due diligence and check whether your company is conformed with the UN Global Compact. And then once everything is done, then you get an email to inform you officially that you are now a signatory to UN Global Compact, and they will give you a connection to the local chapter, and that's where our role comes, because we are here representing the UN Global at New York. So on our side, we just have a form which is online. You just fill, because the first entry is for you to be a signatory to the UN Global Compact New York, and then you become a member to the local. But there are some challenges, because there are some conditions for you to be a member. One, it's starting from the number of employees. So it's 10 and above. So sometimes you may find the SME, they actually not meet that threshold of 10 employees. But they are anxious, they want to participate in this network. Because we will keep nurturing you slowly, because we know that's a growing company. So by the time you reach that threshold, then you can be eligible to join the UN Global. But we don't close the door. So the door is open. So if you try to apply and then you find your application has been declined, just because of the reason which is it's like a number of employees. What are the commitments which is required and to the signatories? One is to make the 10 principles part of your business strategies and day-to-day operations. I'll take you through those 10 principles in the following slides. But also to issue an annual communication on progress. In short, we call it COP, a public disclosure to the stakeholders on progress made in the implementation of the 10 principles, and putting the commitment that you will continue supporting the UN development goals. I'll also brief a bit about how does this COP look like, but also to remain advocates for the Global Compact. Generally. And this is a local network. What does the local network stand for? It's the cluster of participants who have come together to advance the UNGCC and its principles to the local level. It's like what we are doing here. So all the members, it's regarded as a cluster where we are trying to push the UN global agenda at the local level. So our roles or our activity first is to identify the local priorities for instance, in our network, because we have two pillars, which is human rights, labor standard, environment, and anti-corruption. So for our network, we choose to go for, to start with two, environments and anti-corruption. Reason being, that is actually, I think you'll agree with me that this is it's a talk of the country, environment and anti-corruption. So we feel if we take those, actually we'll also get a support from the government, because at the end of the day, this also, all these initiatives also need to get a buy-in from the government as well, so as we can move forward. But awareness creation through this network, this is something which we are also supposed to do, but also organizing learning and dialogue events. This is one of those kind of events which we are supposed to organize, so as we keep sharing what is on the ground and what is actually in the global perspective. But producing learning material in the local language. So even though we get material from our colleagues in New York or from other networks, but given the nature, we can actually translate to the local language, which it will be easy for everyone to understand. But also mobilizing the collective actions. If we want to do a campaign, then we bring all the participants together and trying to emphasize, we move from an era of competition and we are trying to move to the collaboration. For instance, we have a certain community have a problem of water, and they are looking for a certain amount of funds, like 200 million, but and also they try to approach some few companies. I'll take an example of maybe a mobile company. If they reach to one mobile company and then they accept, okay, fine, we'll give 50 million. So if they give a 50 million, then they will put a seal that you should also, who else will be contacting in the mobile company. So if not, they will say, no, don't talk to other mobile company, we'll give you 50 million. So it's like you're closing for other not to support. But we are saying, at the end of the day, this is a community thing. So we don't need to use it as a public relation, like it's a marketing thing. But at the end of the day, are we saving that community? So why don't we come together? You put 20 million, he put 10 million, he put 50 million, and then we have 200 million. And then we save that community, regardless of our competition. So that is something which we are trying to spice and bring it on to the thing. But also facilitating the partnership projects, but also in supporting of the SDGs, 17 SDG, and safeguard the overall UNGC integrity. So, and then principles, this is based on intergovernmental agreements. This is something which the government have signed, and this was a declaration from several conventions. If we start, for instance, for human rights, this is from Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but labor law, it's an ILO, a Declaration of Fundamental Principles and Right at Work. Environment, this is a Rio Declaration on Environment. And corruption, this is a UN Convention Against Corruption. And what we do under environmental, we take care about climate change, water resource management, sustainable supply chain, and food security. So most of the solution is toward those areas. But also on the social, human rights, indigenous people's rights, youth unemployment, women empowerment. This is what we are doing here today. But under the governance, we have anti-corruption, business for peace, rule of law, and responsible investment. It's not every investment. It's a good investment in that sense. So we need to have a responsible investment. So what are the benefits if someone participates to the UN Global? We look at it in two sides. One, it's build the company reputation, but also network with the sustainable leaders, but access thought of the leadership. And corporate sustainability benefits, one is to improve internal processing, that at the end of the day, once you use this kind of tools, which is provided under the UN Global Compact, it's our dream, it's our aim that at the end of the day, you'll be in the position to tell us that you have managed to improve your internal processing. That if you are spending so much just buying paper, or if you are spending so much maybe paying for the medical for your staff, then at the end of the day you'll have this. But also it identifies the strength and weakness, it attracts, motivates, retain the valuable employers, and improve reputation and attract new source of funds. So these are the 10 principles under each category. I think we'll get time to look at it. I think it's in the flyers.